Hello, everyone, and welcome to another show in the gray area. Now, today, what I've got for you, I've got fantasy this or that. Just a little more fantasy football stuff with some tips mixed in here, and just I'll be picking this or that. What would I rather have fantasy football wise? And then later, I'll be getting just Gray's comments again, but this time it'll be more just random things involving the NFL and predicting the Jaguars NFL season. All right, so let's get into it. Fantasy, this or that. Who would I rather have on my fantasy team? Mahomes and Juju Smith-Schuster, or Justin Herbert and Devontae Adams? Fantasy, this or that. Okay, so with this, you've got Mahomes being the slightly better quarterback and Devontae Adams being the slightly better wide receiver. Now, Devontae Adams, he was the best wide receiver to have last season. And with Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay, I think Devontae Adams will be very valuable to have. And Justin Herbert, with how he did last season, he wasn't that far behind Mahomes in total points. So I'd take Herbert and Devontae Adams. Even though Mahomes is a better quarterback, Devontae Adams is more ahead of Juju than Mahomes is of Herbert. So Herbert and Devontae Adams. Now, real quick, the Aaron Rodgers situation. I had this hunch, like Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay. I never really thought that would happen. And as all this is happening, I'm like, I really don't think so. And it just didn't seem right that he would just leave just like that. He's got a really good setup in Green Bay. And yeah. And now it's really looking like he's gonna stay in Green Bay. So yeah. Alright. Fantasy this or that. Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry? This is a really, really tough one. Because both great running backs, okay? Christian McCaffrey got injured last season and did not do well. Like almost the whole season, he had like one or two good games because he barely played, and things like that really worry me. Even though this season McCaffrey is expected to get a little more points than Derrick Henry, that injury worries me. I do not recall what injury it is, but something like that coming back and being the number one running back again, because he was the number one fantasy running back in 2019. Derrick Henry being the number one in 2020. I'm gonna say Henry. I feel like he has a better chance of being really good. So that's my pick. I'll take Derrick Henry over Christian McCaffrey. A lot of people would disagree with me. Derrick Henry's on a better team as well. With the Panthers, they've now got Sam Darnold. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. I'll take Derrick Henry over Christian McCaffrey. All right, Kelce, Travis Kelce, and the Bills defense special teams, or George Kittle and the Rams defense special teams? I'm going to take Kelce and the Bills because Kelce is so consistent and gets so many points. Kittle, I think he can do that, but Kelce is much more likely to hit that 20 points a game than Kittle is. And even though the Rams defense special teams is better, than the Bills' defense special teams. Defense special teams is that position in fantasy football where you literally could get a new one. If you don't have like a really good one, you could literally get a new one every week. You look for that position, you figure out who they're facing, and you make judgments off that. But the Rams are really good. They've got Aaron Donald and stuff. So you want the Rams defense special teams, but tight end position is much more important to make sure it's right. All right, and last one, Russell Wilson and Cam Newton, or Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts. These are your quarterback options, okay? For your two quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Cam Newton, Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts. Also a very tough one. And if you're looking at it, you might be like, oh, Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. Jalen Hurts isn't good. And Tom Brady, even though he is really good, he isn't the greatest fantasy-wise. But here's why I take Brady and Jalen Hurts. Brady does produce pretty good fantasy points. Cam Newton isn't really going to do as well as Brady or Wilson. And Jalen Hurts has serious potential. Jalen Hurts, when he started last season, he had like 23 average points when he started. And that's amazing. That's really good for a quarterback. So I could see Jalen Hurts producing a lot of fantasy points. He'll run like Lamar Jackson. And, I mean, he throws interceptions, but he's good. Jalen Hurts, now that Justin Herbert has proved himself, I think Jalen Hurts is the underdog quarterback of fantasy. All right. I do not have much time to get through this. Wide receiver Justin Jefferson from the Vikings, his dance, The Gritty, look it up on YouTube or whatever, will be implemented into Fortnite. Not that very many people care. I don't play Fortnite. But it's an interesting little dance. You can check that out. You ever see bandwagoners? Like, I'm out here in the middle of the United States and I see this guy wearing a Tampa Bay hat. I can't say for sure he's a bandwagoner, but man, seriously? Alright. Predicting the Jaguars season. First game, got the Texans. Texans are so just what's going on right now. And I don't think Deshaun Watson was going to play. But honestly, that's 50-50. Texans, I say they beat the Texans, go start off 1-0. I'll say lose to the Broncos, lose to the Cardinals, and very close. This could go either way, but I'll say lose to the Bengals, lose to the Titans, lose to the Dolphins, lose to the Seahawks even after their bye week. So they're 1-6 now, lose to the Bills, lose to the Colts. Both good teams, so they're 1-8, and they're bound to have an upset, maybe two, because the Jaguars are still pretty low on the whole hierarchy of the NFL. But I'll give their upset to the 49ers. They beat the 49ers in week 10, so they're 2-8, or that's week 11. So they're 2-8 there. Lose to the Falcons, lose to the Rams, lose to the Titans. They're 2-11, and then they get 2 wins back to back versus the Texans and the Jets. Now that Jaguars-Jets game, that could really go either way. I always like the underdog. Like I'm a guy who will root for the underdog. I'm an OSU fan over an OU fan here in Oklahoma. So I mean, yeah. They beat the Texans and they beat the Jets. Like I said, I like the underdogs. Yeah, I lost my train of thought there for a second. And so I'm really rooting for the Jaguars and the Jets to have good seasons. But I'll say the Jaguars beat the Jets. So they're 4-11, and then they lose their final two games to the Patriots and the Colts. So my prediction for the Jaguars, they go 4-13. I could see them going 5-12, but it is what it is. All right, that should wrap it up. This whole time right now, it's that awkward time in between the draft and the season. Like, it's like, come on, 3 months. I can't wait that long. The NFL preseason starts in late August though, so hopefully not too long. All right, like, subscribe, follow my Instagram, and I'll see you next time in the gray area. I hate that this button doesn't work. It's